After World War I, in the 1920s, the Regio Esercito replaced the SIA Mod 1918 machine gun with new weapons, the Fiat Mod 24 and the Breda Model 5C. A lightened version of the second, equipped with a bipod, was chosen as the submachine gun, also preferred to the ZBVZ-26 Czechoslovakian, from which the famous British Bren machine gun would later derive. The Breda Mod 30, adopted in the Italian Armed Forces in 1930, directly derived from the Model 5C. The Breda should be compared with similar contemporary weapons, which were essentially the ZBVZ-26 Czechoslovakian, a derivation of it, the English Bren, the Japanese Type 96. The ZBVZ-26 was operated by gas subtraction with a fire selector and fired with the shutter open. The automatism was based on a long-stroke piston, positioned under the barrel and connected to the gas recovery unit, mounted near the muzzle, which also served as a support for the sight, through a union on the upper part of the castle. One of its drawbacks was its high production price due to the complexity of the processes to be performed for the realization of its component pieces. In extreme operating theaters such as in the Russian winter and in the Sahara, it had jamming rates comparable to the Breda 30. So much so that the Afrika Korps did not adopt it as even secondary armament, preferring more recent and more reliable German products. The Bren was a modified version of a Czechoslovakian machine gun, the ZBVZ-26, therefore with the same type of drive and mechanics. Unlike the latter, it had a curved magazine, instead of a linear one. It weighed just over 10 kilograms and was powered by a 30-round magazine, with a rate of fire of 480 rounds per minute in the first versions. It was prone to jams. The jam rate was higher than the Breda 30, so the magazines had to be loaded with fewer rounds in order to limit malfunctions. In the Sahara and those given to the Red Army, jamming rates were equal to or greater than the Breda 30. Also in 1940 and 1944 enjoyed redesigns which considerably alleviated the severe problems encountered in terrain other than continental Europe, while those in climate continued Russian or Siberian, as deduced from winter military reports in the Korean War when temperatures dropped to 30 degrees below zero. The Japanese Type 96 was a gas-operated light machine gun weighing 9 kilos when empty, a curved double-stack magazine with a capacity of 36.5 caliber cartridges. The oiler continued to attract dirt and that the shells of the fired bullets, even in the presence of the lubricator, tended to get stuck in the combustion chamber, was also harshly criticized for not excellent ballistic performance, caused by the ammunition it used. For the Breda 30, it weighed 10.6 kilograms and had precise mechanics compared to its competitors. The operating principle was based on the short recoil of the barrel integral with the shutter, which is of the rotating type with opposing locking lugs. The weapon fires with the bolt closed by means of a firing pin. It had a 20-round magazine, with a rate of fire of about 500 rounds per minute compared to its competitors. Coming to the long-standing criticisms of this weapon, they are completely unjustified. The jamming rate of the weapon was similar to that of models designed in the same era. When all of the models that I have named were employed in operations outside the operational theater for which they were designed, they had jam rates similar to or exceeding the Breda 30. Add to this a remarkable fact which has long been overlooked. The soldiers often reloaded the feed plates of the Breda 30 with bullets intended for the Carcano Type 91 rifle. Due to inattention or much more often due to lack of ammunition due to logistics. Well, the bullets of the Carcano rifle had a much lower explosive charge than the bullets intended for the Breda 30, thus preventing the correct functioning of the weapon which jammed. So, in conclusion, the Breda 30 was a good gun that has suffered over the years a very strange bad reputation due to 1. To be compared with much more advanced later weapons and not with those of its same historical period which were equal or worse under the same operating conditions. 2. To have been used in operating conditions, with projectiles that were not those for which it was designed and which favored jamming by not allowing the explosion and rearming cycle to perform correctly. Confirming this is what the Wehrmacht did after the Italian surrender in 1943. It used the Breda 30 in its army, preferring it to the Czechoslovakian machine gun, and captured Brens.